variables xi, some of which are not independent. So far we assume that all the variables are independent. So you should recollect your probability theory. What do you mean by independent variables? So if the effect of one variable has no effect on the other variable, we say that they are independent. Okay, so now we'll consider the case where two variables are not independent. So this is the most general formula. So that is called the law of propagation of uncertainty. So combined standard uncertainty of y is equal to sigma I equal to 1 to n Ci into standard uncertainty of xi whole square. So this is the earlier what we have seen, formula for combined standard uncertainty. Now, when they are not independent, we get an additional term. Okay, so it looks very big, but actually it is very simple. So plus, so that is additional term, twice, y twice. So just like a plus b whole square is a square plus b square plus 2ab. So same way, 2 Ci into standard uncertainty of xi is a, Cj into standard uncertainty of xj is b. Okay, plus this into r. What is r? That is the correlation between xi, xj. If two variables xi and xj are independent, what will be the correlation between them? It should be 0. So if they are not independent, then the correlation will not be 0, and then we have to take this additional term into this formula. Okay? So this is called the law of propagation of uncertainty. So the correlation coefficient R between xi and xj is standard uncertainty of xi comma xj. So this is standard uncertainty of two variables together, which is the covariance divided by standard uncertainty of xi into standard uncertainty of xj. And here this is sigma I equal to 1 to n, all the terms 1, 2, 3, etc. up to n. But here we have I equal to 1 to n minus 1. So if there are n terms, we'll have only n minus 1 because we are taking 2 at a time. So xi, xj. So if x1, then this cannot be x1. This can only be x2, x3, etc. And if there are 3 terms, we'll have x1, x2, and x2, x3. And okay, x1, x3 also. So 3 terms will be there for each. So how many times you can take 2 variables at a time? So that many terms will be here. So if there are 3 variables, there will be 3 terms. Sigma I equal to 1 to n minus 1, j equal to I plus 1 to n. So I equal to 1, j will be 2. If n equal to 3, 1, j equal to 2, then next j equal to 3. Then I equal to 2, j will be 3 only. So only 3 terms will be there. If capital N is 3. Okay. So R is the correlation coefficient which can vary. So this quantity can vary between -1 and 1. So all this you would have studied in your statistics course. So I am not repeating it. So okay, please see the book by Kirkup. It gives a lot of explanation. So some graphs are there. Okay, I'll skip this. So this is the formula for variance. So square root of that is standard deviation. Okay, if it is 0, okay, perfect. What is the graph? I don't know. Okay. Okay, so now we'll apply this to some problems. So u of xi xj is the covariance between xi and xj. If xi and xj are independent, correlation coefficient will be 0. That means a change in xi does not imply a change in xj. So I think I explained this. Also, okay, it's only written as split form, that's all. So this is equal to, so either it can be Ci into standard answer xi or standard answer to y, the contribution of I. So this term is same as this term, and here you can see that this term is coming here, first one term, then next term. This is a rewritten of this. Now we'll go to a problem. The two sides of a rectangle are measured as 200 mm and 100 mm with the same scale with standard uncertainties of 0.8 mm and 0.5 mm respectively. So we are using the same scale. So what is the issue there? So same scale, suppose there is an error in scale in this reading. Suppose the scale there is a 0 error. So if it is reading always plus, then both readings will be plus. There is a likelihood that both readings are plus. Okay, so because of which the two readings are not independent. So we have to consider this correlation between readings. Whenever using same instrument for two, we cannot say that they are independent. So the standard uncertainty are 0.8 mm and 0.5 mm respectively. The two uncertainties are correlated with the correlation coefficient 0.8. So this is an assumption. Determine the uncertainty in area. Okay, so please can you attempt this problem now? So area to length into breadth. So standard uncertainty of length is 0.8 mm, standard uncertainty of breadth is 0.5 mm. So uncertainty of area due to length, uncertainty of area due to breadth we can determine and then use the formula. Area is this. Now sensitivity with respect to length is partial derivative A with respect to length is B is 100 mm. Uncertainty area due to length is CL into standard uncertainty of length is 18 mm square. Similarly, CB is equal to partial derivative area with respect to breadth is L, 200 mm. Uncertainty area due to breadth is 200 into 0.5 is 100 millimeter square. So combined standard uncertainty in area squared is equal to uncertainty area due to length squared plus uncertainty area due to breadth squared. So these two quantities we have found here, and then we have to add this term also, plus 2 into CL into CB we have got here, into UB into UL into UB. So UL, it is given the question, into R of LB. Also CL into UL is same as this. We can directly take these two quantities and that correlation coefficient has to be added. Plus 2 into, okay, if you are writing in this fashion, 100, then 200, then 0.8, then 0.5 into correlation coefficient 0.8. So sum of all this is 29,200. So combined standard uncertainty in area is 170.88 millimeter squared. Okay. So any doubt in this problem? Please ask. Okay. So same thing problem can be attempted numerically also when correlations are there. So this is the Excel table. So first column is all the variables, their values, then the standard uncertainties. Next L plus standard uncertainty of L, then L minus standard uncertainty of L. Then next row B plus standard uncertainty of B, B minus standard uncertainty of B, L is the original value. Find out the areas. So uncertainty in area due to length is this minus this by 2. Uncertainty in area due to breadth is this minus this by 2. And this is the correlation coefficient. So this squared plus 2 into this, that is this. So then add all these three, take square root. This will be the combined standard uncertainty in area. Okay, so what exactly about independence? So independence, so two terms are independent. You need to know the correlation coefficient, and there is an additional term coming up. So even if they are not independent, sometimes correlation coefficient may be 0, in which case this term will become 0. So there is a big discussion in the book by Kirkup. So usually, most of the time in industry, we assume that correlations are 0 or the variables are independent, which actually may not be the case many times. So this is an active area of research, how to account for the correlations, how to determine the correlations. So for example, in a coordinate measuring machine, so when some temperature change happens, the CMM distorts, and that will be, many of the measurements will become correlated, or the axes will become correlated. So how do you determine that? So that is an area of research, how to take into account that. Okay, so this is the numerical approach. So both approaches we can consider correlations also. There is no difficulty. Okay, so now one more problem where there are three variables. The circuit consists of three resistances connected in series. The resistances were measured using a digital multimeter as 40, 60 and 90 ohms. Determine the standard uncertainty in the circuit if the standard uncertainty in the resistances were 1, 1.5 and 2.5 ohm respectively, and all the resistance measurements had a correlation coefficient of 0.7 between them. So if you are measuring the resistance with the same multimeter, if there is an error in the multimeter, so all the values will be either plus or minus. There is some correlation between all the readings. So what will be the combined standard uncertainty? So first step is always the mathematical model. Okay, before that we have to find out the input variables. Here the input variable is the resistances. We are interested in the measurement is the uncertainty of the resistance of the circuit. So R equal to R1 plus R2 plus R3. That is the mathematical model. So you have the standard uncertainties of each resistance and their correlation. So combined standard uncertainty will be uncertainty of 1 squared plus okay, this is resistance uncertainty of 1 squared plus uncertainty of 2 squared plus uncertainty of 3 squared plus 2 into 0.7 is the correlation coefficient into uncertainty of resistance 1 is 1, uncertainty of resistance 2 is 1.5. So this is one pair of terms. Then second pair of terms, 2 into 0.7 into 1.5 into 2.5, 1.5 into 2.5. Then third pair is 2.5 and 1.5. Two into 0.7 into, sorry, there's a 1 and 1.5. Okay, one of these should be 1 and 1.5, 1 and 2.5, and then 2.5 and 1.5. So these two, I don't remember the sequence. So okay, I think please cross check the answer whether there's a mistake here or not. I'm not sure now. So anyway, this line there's a mistake. One of these should be 2.5 into 1. 1 into 1.5, then 1 into 2.5, then 1.5 and 2.5. Okay. So finally, special case where all of the input estimates are correlated with correlation coefficients plus 1. The correlation between any two input factors is 1. The equation reduces to, so just like a plus b whole square is a square plus b square plus 2ab. So where correlation is 1, it becomes a plus b. So combined standard uncertainty y equal to sigma of I equal to 1 to n Ci into standard uncertainty of xi. So this also will apply in a small example. This is from the GUM itself. 10 resistors, each of nominal resistance Ri equal to 1000 ohms, are calibrated with a negligible uncertainty of comparison in terms of the same 1000 ohm standard resistor Rs, characterized by a standard uncertainty 100 milliohms as given in its calibration certificate. So 10 resistors have been calibrated using the same standard resistor having some standard uncertainty. The resistors are connected in series with wires having negligible resistance in order to obtain a reference resistance RF of nominal value 10 kilo ohms. So that means we are connecting all the resistances in series. So R equal to total resistance will be R1 plus R2 plus etc. R10. So what is the uncertainty in the reference resistance RF? So this is the sum of the 10 resistances. What will be the uncertainty in RF? So all of these resistances are adjusted with respect to the same master. So if there's an error in the master, all of them are likely to have the same error. So that's why the uncertainties are all correlated. So they are all perfectly correlated. So we are assuming there is perfect correlation. So correlation coefficient is 1. So what will be the uncertainty in RF? So each resistance, the uncertainty is 100 milliohms. So 10 together, uncertainty will be 10 times this. RF equal to 10 into 1000 equal to 10 kilo ohms. So using the previous formula, all those R is plus 1 for each resistance pair. So combined standard RF equal to sigma into standard uncertainty of RS is 1 ohm. Okay. So the effect of correlation can be either to increase the uncertainty or to decrease the uncertainty. That is also possible. if the second term is negative, depending on the signs involved. So that is why now the signs are important. So previously we said absolute value in the formula for combined standard uncertainty. So that is why I said it is not good, because in the general case, signs are important. So the ability to reduce we use in comparators. So for example, if you want to find out the difference of height between two objects, so one is the workpiece and one is the standard. So standard, you can use a set of gauge blocks and then find out the difference. So the difference y equal to x1 minus x2. So the uncertainty in the difference x of x1 minus x2 will be uncertainty in x1 squared plus uncertainty x2 squared minus 2 into r into standard uncertainty x1 into standard uncertainty x2 raised to 0.5. So uncertainties, these two will add up, but then this term will cancel out. So uncertainty finally is reduced. Suppose they are perfectly correlated, then this will be equal to a square plus b square minus 2ab. So a minus b, when you take square root, it becomes a minus b. So uncertainty y is equal to uncertainty of x1 minus uncertainty of x2 when there is perfect correlation. So if the change in time etc. is very small between these two measurements, we can say, because we are using the same dial gauge, same setup, so they may be perfectly correlated or at least very highly correlated, then the uncertainties will be reduced. So uncertainty x1 is small, uncertainty x2 is small, the difference will be even smaller. Okay, so this is how we can use the effect of correlations positively. So similarly, when measuring weights, so if you measure your weight in the same balance every time, then it is since the weights are correlated, the uncertainties will be less than if you measured in different balances. Suppose you are measuring your weight every month, and every month you use different balance, then the uncertainties simply get added up. But if you are using the same balance, then there will be a slight reduction in the resultant uncertainty. Okay, this we will see after completing the simple cases.